Beginning. It is the race beginning, I think. As we see Seth just holding it on the inside, I think. Rao is on the outside, so she's holding on. Oh, third place is spun. Oh, and someone's hit him. Someone's on flight. Horrible first lap. We're looking at the replay of it now. He just mid-corner, he just loses the rear end. Rips. We see Adak. Oh, huge crash for Adak. That's him out of first place, I believe. There we go, he just got a wheel on the grass. The rear wheels lose traction. It's just a matter of you're a bit of a passenger kind of. Just there we go. Some interesting words from the Shanger. Still running in the race in 11th position in the back. Easy finish, that's a good experience to get under your belt. This one's having a great time at the moment. You see VSF having a huge off there. Once again, not for the first time in this race. Touching the barrier, the front wing. There's Adak. He's dropped down to 10. He finds himself beached in the gravel, making a few sandcastles there. Four wheels on the tarmac. Very important prerequisite for the race car. There's Rajan. Had a little bit of a spin. Gets onto the curve, and the rear just goes. It's too much power. The Hawks into the Mike Knight corner, and into the last corner. Ritesh Rai is going to cross the line and win the Pokeyama round at the Indian eRacing Championship Juniors class. There we go, goes towards the pit lane in celebration. A brilliant drive. Here's Siddharth Schnell. He's going to come home in third, behind Aya, who. There we go. He's made a very good getaway. Carnage is all going to be behind him. Third, down to keep the faster cars behind. Of course, a big incident already. We see one of the front runners just crashed out. Dramatically, that was Kuti, the pole sitter. Here we go. What happened here? So he goes a bit. Oh, he just loses the rear end. Snap of oversteer, and the car switches off into the wall as Sanjay also drops it, coming out of this is onto the oversteer after the chicane. Back to the yellow machine. Oh, just about squeezing through, but we know that she was lost the rear wheel. Sharp to be careful with it. Oh, now they've hit each other. Oh, and Sharp finds himself facing the barrier there. What happened there was miscommunication before the guy was clear. The yellow car sees the turn into it and the rear wheel launch defense, I imagine. Here we go. That's the edge. Inside with the chicane. Ibrahim is going to have to go all the way around the outside. Can he pull this one off? Yes, he can. There we go. Cool route. Missing the rear wing. There's been a collision from behind. Just an innocent victim. Did he brake too early there, or did the car behind just plow into the back of his route? The car gets wiped out. What happens here? He just bounces, flies through the air off the inside, the chicane spins. Oh, this is a dramatic incident and a half. Using them. Really, you haven't seen him move there very often. It's a hand for him. He gets first run. Five. A mistake by Brittany. It's going to be so frustrating. And Mohammed Ibrahim is going to take a superb reverse grid victory, having started 12th on the grid. It's all come his way. He crosses the line, and it's victory for Mohammed Ibrahim at the Charlotte Roval, with Ty Privy actually closing a little bit at the end, but not quite enough on that final lap, sadly. Ujwal Belwaria, he's 10 seconds down in third place, but a solid performance by him. beginning. It is the race beginning, I think. We see Seth Hall just holding it on the inside, I think. Rao is on the outside, so she's holding on. Third place is spun. Oh, and it's sort of hit him. Something flying. Horrible first lap. Look at the replay of it now. He just mid-corner, he just loses the rear end. Rips. We see Adak. Oh, huge crash for Adak. And that's him out of first place, I believe. There we go. He just got a wheel on the grass. Once the rear wheels lose traction, it's just a matter of you're a bit of a passenger kind of thing. Just there we go. Some interesting words from Chris Shanker. Still running in the race. And letting people at the back. Easy to finish. That's a good experience to get under your belt. Having a great time at the moment. You see VSF having a huge off there. Once again, not for the first time in this race. Not too barrier, the front wing. Wrecking there. Then Adak dropped down to 10. Finds himself beached in the gravel, making a few sandcastles there. All wheels on the tarmac. Very important prerequisite for the race car. There's Rajan. Had a little bit of a spin. And pass. He goes. Gets onto the curve. And the rear just goes. It's too much power. The Hawks into Mike Knight corner. And into the last corner. Ritesh Rai is going to cross the line and win the Pokeyama round at the Indian eRacing Championship Juniors class. There we go, goes towards the pit lane.
The championship all wrapped up with a nice, neat bow. This has been a season all about dominance and all about putting yourself on the highest pedestal possible. It's the final 2 rounds of the season, one today and one tomorrow, here with IR Esports, your Indian eRacing Championship. Heads to Spa-Francorchamps right now, a championship already wrapped up through the exploits of Mohammed Ibrahim. And today we are here for you with some brilliant action. But before we get on any further forward, we're going to take a look at our sponsors for today. First and foremost, Mumbai Falcons Racing Limited, who are an Indian brand passionate about promoting motorsport in India. The Mumbai Falcons are undertaking several initiatives to innovate and positively impact the entire motorsports ecosystem and its related facilities. Their overall vision is to develop supporting projects which impact motorsport and the next generation of automotive development. Mumbai Falcons, they envisage to build a futuristic hub aided by a racetrack which will serve as a multi-platform environment for innovative auto-related companies, provide educational excellence in a plethora of related fields, and provide for a wholesome family experience. On top of that, we are sponsored by Volkswagen Motorsport. The top 6 in the championship after tomorrow will be heading to the Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship, the VVRC. But Volkswagen Motorsports launched the Polo Cup in 2010, marking their entrance into Indian motorsport. The aim was to provide a platform for young drivers to begin professional racing and display their skills on a national level. And since then, they have gone on to produce many race drivers who have progressed to race internationally. My name's Jake Sperry. I've got Ed Hunter alongside me for proceedings here today. Now, Ed, we're running the classic pit layout today at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. This place is a very, very long lap. It is a classic track in every sense of the word and has just about a little bit of everything.
Indeed it does, Jake. It's a pleasure to be joining you here at Spa-Francorchamps in the middle of the Ardennes Forest, of course. And it's one of the classic venues on the Formula 1 calendar, of course, one of the longest modern track layouts that still remains, of course. I think Nürburgring was significantly longer back in the day, but of course it's been shortened since from the old, over 100 corners. It was certainly a 14-mile lap, that's for sure. The Spa, I believe, is not quite as long, but still one of the longer laps, so we should be seeing upwards of 2-minute laps here, I think, from the Formula 3 field. So not quite as quick as the Formula 1 cars, of course, but still pretty nippy. And we're seeing lots of opportunities for errors here as well on this track. Of course, you've got famous corners like Eau Rouge, Stavelot, Radion, and the Lessor's hairpin, which of course I imagine is going to see quite some carnage in the race and possibly a couple of overtaking moves as well.
It is worth noting that we are running that classic pit layout, so we will be starting just after the Lasso's hairpin. The first corner will be Eau Rouge into Radion as we currently take a look at a couple of drivers looking to try and put themselves then as close as they possibly can on their times. They won't have long, but they will have the ability to finish the laps that they do start. It takes about half the time in this 10-minute qualifying session to get things going. Racing action today will be lasting 20 minutes here. For the safety cars, there are any incidents in the early goings. But let's talk about the start of the race then, just for a moment here, Ed, because that run up the Camel Straight towards the Lake Mountain Complex, that's going to be a really interesting one, especially in these open wheel vehicles, which really will get a good tow when they go through the early stages of the race.
Indeed it will, and make sure you get because the moment you get really close to the back of the car, you get into something that's called the slipstream effect that we all know very well, of course, where you're able to sort of build up more speed than you would normally if there wasn't someone to punch a hole in the air behind it, if that makes sense. So the other thing, of course, is we look at Side Brigade, second championship, just going down over the marks for the start-finish line. It's actually a downhill start as well. So in real life, of course, you have a downhill start. It makes the start a little bit easier in terms of if it was an uphill start, you'd have the problem of just making sure you don't stall it. But downhill does make it a little bit easier. But it means that they're going to build up speed really quickly going up through Eau Rouge and Radion, of course. And of course into the Lecun at the end of the Camel Straight, which is going to be another prime overtaking opportunity, where you can famously Mika Hakkinen once went round the outside of Ricardo Zonta to overtake Michael Schumacher for the lead at the 2000 Belgian Grand Prix, which was a classic overtake, and I imagine several of these Indian F3 drivers looking to replicate that today in the race.
I think they certainly will. This is Oshan Kotadia, currently on a flying lap. It's worth keeping an eye out on him in terms of the racing. We talked about it earlier. The top 6 in the championship move over to the Volkswagen virtually go wrong if you're not too careful. You can't afford to push too far out wide either through that section of road. The difference between them in the championship fight is a margin which is about 23 points right now. There's a spinner right in front of Sam Ravel, which will not be the best news to the ears right now, but that championship fight is definitely going to be worth keeping an eye out on. But whilst we keep an eye out on racing proceedings here in qualifying, we're going to step aside for just one moment here, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be back with more after this. Qualifying continues then, 2 minutes 20 seconds to go. Here is the driver on top of the timing stands at the moment. It's Mohammed Ibrahim, and get this one here, Ed. He's up ahead by 1.1 seconds over Naranjan Kumar in second and Sai Sanjay in third.
That is very impressive, but from Mohammed Ibrahim, it's not surprising given the season that he has had. I remember watching that reverse grid race at the Charlotte Roval. He was able to just cut through the field like a knife through butter, and he was up to 4th, I think, having started in 12th at the end of the first lap. So I'm not surprised to see him so far ahead, but it is always impressive to watch him, just how he's so much confidence in the way he drives this Volkswagen-powered F3 car around the Spa-Francorchamps circuit.
Exactly, they're on fixed setups as well, so it's not like any driver's got a different advantage by the tinkering tools. Here's Joao Belwarrier, though, in 5th position. He'll be definitely looking to try and get some good times. Out of the 15 drivers that are here today, only 9 of them so far have set a time, and if they do not go out there to set a representative flying time, they are going to have to start by iRacing, which is a measure of, well, how many official races have you done, and, well, how quick are you? What's your rating of being quicker than other drivers? So that will be a little awkward for a few drivers up and down the field. So here is Saeed Saran going past the Grand Prix start-finish line, but now we'll head towards turn number 1, which will be towards the end of the lap right now. And Ed, this is where you're thinking about, okay, you've got one more lap after this. If you cross the start-finish line, every single time counts and matters. Like Sanjay jumping up now into second ahead of Niranjan Kumar.
Yeah, very solid lap by Sai Sanjay to be within 7/10 of Mohammed Ibrahim. Braden Sandvale has also just put in a lap time. That's good for the man in 6th place, of course, ahead of Kofadir, of course. So that's really important to keep in track of putting that battle for 6th place. And someone else is, I think Sai Privy has set a pretty solid time there too in 4th. It's very tight in the battle for 3rd and 2nd.
It's also really tight between Sahil Shah and Ujwal Belwaria. They are tied on times to the 1,000th of a second. There is Sai Prithvi, second in the championship, would like to consolidate that as much as possible here today. He's got 50 points of margin over Amit Kuti. As I look on down, Amit Kuti is going to be one of the last drivers out there, and there's a little bit of a moment that we see on screen as Sahil Shah loses it out of Malmedy corner, which is so very easy to do when you're pushing on the limits here. Timer has expired in this session, so these drivers will be looking to try and get their times in on the board. As we look at Belwaria going through Pujon, the double apex left-hander, pushing a little bit wide. Now, here is something that's going to be really awkward to deal with as Belwaria does run wide, off-track incident points.
Indeed, yes, because obviously when you go off track, that's obviously not where the grip is, but often some drivers will do that in order to carry more speed through the corner, and it's something that we do see increasingly these days policed a lot in real-life championships, but in sim racing, of course, it's even more sort of cut and dry wherever you've cut the track, because everyone can see it. You've got replays, you've got detection points as well, like you say, Jake. So as we see Kofadir just ending his qualifying session, he's going to be starting the race in 10th place, which is not quite as high as I think we would have hoped. But, of course, sorry, that's the wrong finish line. I'm getting confused with the F1 finish line. But yeah,
well,
2 minutes.
And over the line goes Kofadir, and he puts a 15.3 on the board. He did improve the time, but crucially not the position in that one. Sai Sanjay won't find improvement, and Amit Kuti is not on a flying lap then. So there's only 2 more drivers out there who can set times. One is Ujwal Belwaria heading progress to the line. He needs just 1,000, just a measly little 1,000 to get this one sorted in the number 19. And over the line, that one won't count because of the off-track instant points. The only other driver out there on the lap is B. Kavin, looking to try and get over the line. He's currently classified in 12th position. That's a very narrow line going through turn number 1. I think he tagged up and locked up the rears there going through that opening section, and hopefully this lap will count for him coming over the line. It will not. So that is everybody across the line and all finished and done with. We're going to step aside for one moment here. We'll be back with the grid after this. All now heading towards qualifying at this moment. The starting grid for you will be just about completed in about 10 seconds time. The checkered flag has come out on the session, but for those things that maybe we're hoping would be different with the fact that the championship is wrapped up under lock and under key as well, some things do remain the same when it comes to qualifying. Mohammed Ibrahim will be the driver on pole position with Sai Sanjay alongside him, 7/10 of a second difference in qualifying, with Niranjan Kumar and Sai Prithvi on the second row. Sahil Shah and Ujwal Belwaria will take the third row of the grid with Sai Saran and Raiden Samravel, 7th and 8th position. Karan Koshik will start from 9th with Oshan Kothadiya in 10th, with work to do here in this race. Divyang Dodia is the last driver to set a time in 11th, with Amit Kuti starting 12th, representative of his iRacing. Raghav Budiraja, you got Rohit Rauch, you got Swaraj Yadav and B. Cavan making the 15-car field today, looking to get themselves going. Not long to grid themselves up, and of course it is a 20-minute race here today, and they will all be looking to try and get the biggest result that they possibly can. Of course, as well, ladies and gentlemen, we are #GamerConnect here today, and we'll be looking forward to more amazing racing action. But that very, very narrow run up through Eau Rouge and Radion to start, it's all about getting in the toe and getting the best possible start here on what you could say is a more classic way that things were run in the likes of the 60s and 70s. But the lights will be on, the engine notes will be rising. We're looking at Mohammed Ibrahim right around now, and let's get ourselves underway. That's a pretty good start off of the front from Mohammed Ibrahim as he takes the rise up the hill and looks to try and go through Eau Rouge and Radion then for the first time, side by side, as Sai Prithvi wants to immediately make up some places here, as this will become a very, very awkward Camel straight to try and navigate towards that next section up the hill. Immediately the look from Sai Sanjay to the right-hand side, trying to get things going. You can see a little bit of 2 wide, almost 3 wide there as Prithvi falls back into 5th position, but Mohammed Ibrahim holds the place then through the left and the right end to start off the lap, and it wasn't a good start. Oh no! He won off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure quite who that was that went off in the purple car, but I thought Sanjay very sensible there to back out around the outside. But here we saw the two purple, I think they're the teammate. It's Kumar, yeah. So Kumar just bumped into the side and sort of spun off into oblivion there, unfortunately. So that's not the start he wanted to his race.
Absolutely not. Same can be said for Karan Koshik, who was missing the right rear tyre there, going very, very wide there. Was, I believe, Sohail Shah, who's got pressure now from Sai Saran, trying to make this position up. So Shah at the moment doing just enough to hold on to that position, but this is the Fania chicane. It leads, of course, to the campus corner here. Of course, the campus on the inside of the track as they go on through, and next up after that, of course, you've got Stablo and then the corner called Frere, which will come up afterwards. There you can see the limits being tested here, big wide lines being taken off the exit of a couple of these corners, but ultimately not quite finding places at the moment. Mohammed Ibrahim, mind you, does lead this one. Sanjay second, Prithvi in third, and oh no, there, right there goes Sohail Shah into the wall at Blanchimont. I think that he got a little bit caught out there. Oh, he's been tagged as well. They're just on the end of all of that. They can see it. No contact, just caught in the dirty air there, Ed, and it's so easy to do.
Yeah, exactly. I think I remember Kimi Räikkönen making the exact same mistake at 2008 race here at Spa, but oh, poor Shah. I saw it was under so much pressure from behind, but it all just sort of went wrong for him. Oh, and he even gets clipped by, oh, dearie me. What a horrible collision there. All the tyres flaming off of the car there, like an octopus tentacles, but Shah goes back to the pit lane. I wasn't sure quite who it was who went straight into the back. I think that might have been someone we saw going off on the first lap, just trying to recover, but that's not going to help their race at all, as we see they're going 3 wide down the Kimmel Straight, Jake.
Nowhere to go for Amit Kuti, riding Samravel, fighting out with Sai Saran, then full position as they jam on the brakes and go into the next right-hander. It's okay at Leikum, and Samravel holding on to his place, and he's crucially gaining in his battle for 6th place overall, because someone's spinning about at the back of the pack, missing the right rear tyre is Oshan Kotadia, who is not having a good time at the moment and in the early goings of this race. A number of drivers out on the opening lap. Narajan Kumar, Sohail Shah, Rohit Raut and Oshan Kotadia will be looking like he needs to get to the pits as soon as he possibly can, as he's tagged the wall and has got more dramas now because he's missing a little bit more out of the vehicle, so he's got to be even more careful going on forward in this one. But we look at Amit Kuti in 7th position right now. He's trying to get through and gain as many places as possible. When you feel like you're quicker, it's a lot tougher to get through the traffic, and he wants to get through as quickly as possible. It is worth noting that the top 12 drivers in this race will be reversed in position. Amit Kuti wanting points, wanting to challenge, and Sahil Shah will have to get out of the way. So that is going to be Kuti trying to get up into 6th position, but he's going a long way around from Paul Frere, down towards Blanchemont, and on the outside of Blanchemont is always a brave place to try and get it done. He does run a little bit wide, will have the inside though at the chicane, and Amit Kuti gains the place.
Yeah, good effort from Raiden Sammerveld there to hold on for as long as he could, of course, and it's still great for Sammerveld running in 6th position because, as we saw over, Kofadir is running around with a rear tyre missing, having just qualified down in the pack and gotten involved in incidents. So it's still looking good for 6th place for Sammerveld.
Absolutely, as into the fence goes Narajan Kumar coming out of the pits then at Lake Coombe, but that's something we haven't seen on camera as we were looking at Sai Saran. There is Oshan Kopadir just coming out of the pits now in 13th, and is going to be a lap down already at this moment in time, which is not quite ideal. What's even more not ideal is he's in 13th place, so if he can get himself up into 12th potentially, he could find himself with an opportunity to be on the pole for tomorrow's reverse grid event. There is Sam Rebel, and there is the fight still with Sahil Shah just behind as Amit Kuti does hold the position then, going through Lake Coombe. Kuti third in the championship, having a good run of things right now here, Ed. But the key here in terms of trying to find these races and trying to get good results, we've seen it so often. Yes, you need pace, but you need to keep the car on the desert island.
Indeed, on the black stuff, of course, Jake. So it's often a case of just picking your moment and waiting for the guy ahead to either make a mistake or just getting the run down on the straight, as we see a lot of drivers trying to make that move on the Kemmel straight into Lecombe, into that chicane, as we saw Kufi just attempting that. But it's really quite fast and furious during these open laps. A lot of incidents and accidents, and it's just a matter of while others lose their head, you've got to keep yours.
Exactly. We do have a couple of questions for you though, ladies and gentlemen, some answers on a postcard. Where do you find them? Well, you find them right here. You can get yourself entered in for a prize if you can get these correct. So if you're ready, you are here right now. We'll quick fire through them. Question 1 today, Nico Rosberg won his sole F1 world title in which year? Question 2, who is the youngest F1 driver to win a race? And question 3, which Mumbai Falcons driver is currently performing quite well in British Formula 3? Answers on a postcard, find them in the comments. Make sure you give yourself
a little bit around the outside of the chicane.
Comes in front. So that's Sam Ravel being overtaken there by Amit Kuti with a great move.
Yeah, he just set that up really, really well coming out of Blanchimont, and Kufi sort of really made it so that Sammerveld couldn't really defend on the inside. So yeah, there was not really much that Sammerveld could have done there. Is he going to try and counter-attack as they go towards Eau Rouge and Radion?
Remember, he doesn't need to make this move to ride in Sam Ravel. He just needs points here with his rival behind him in the championship and behind him on track as well. Gets a good run here, smoking right onto the Kemmel. No DRS available to these drivers, of course, because this is Formula 3 spec, but look at this, trying to work out the way through, small wiggles here and there. Is that going to be a lunge to the inside? And just enough room being given. Amit Kuti knows how to leave racing room. He gives the driver there on the inside 0.9 of a car's width to work with, and somehow it always comes off.
Yeah, very, very good judgment there, actually, from both drivers, not to end up in a horrible collision there, as we've seen some others coming to grief earlier in the race. But 12 minutes left to go. Sammerveld is still set up, like you say, in a very good position. Just needs to hold off the driver behind, which is Shah, isn't it? In the orange car.
It is Sahil Shah. Sorry, no, it's Sai Saran, sorry, who is there. Sahil Shah down in 11th position right now, trying to get on through. So Sai Saran will be looking to try and get in on this as much as possible. Haven't talked too much about the front of the field so far in this race. As we take a look at 5th, 6th and 7th, the gap at the front has been extending out by Mohammed Ibrahim. No surprises. When Mohammed Ibrahim has won on a Saturday, he has always got a 100% record of converting on a Sunday. He is now out and away by over 2.5 seconds here in this race at the moment, but there is still time for mistakes to happen here as Sai Saran closes in and gets a little bit wide there out on the AstroTurf compared to one Mr. Samravel. There's a lunge down to the inside, and Samravel's got to be cautious here. He'll have the inside line, and Sohail Shah now retires from the event, so will not be going any further in this one. But ultimately, Saran will definitely want to get through, and hopefully cleanly here. Look at last source, no dice.
Yeah, we're seeing a replay of him trying to go really late on the brakes, actually, on Samravel into the bus stop chicane, but Samravel wasn't really going to let him by there at all. No, but here we go. So, this Samravel he's got through at La Source, so Samravel is going to have another go at him, I think. Here we go. Oh, he gets too close. He loses the front wing almost, I think, there.
He's lucky, and that's Copadia who's just tagged the rear of him. I think he's got away with that one there as they go on through. So there's Samravel. He just gets too close up Radion corner, runs into the back. He's lucky, just about avoids the wall there on the inside, and I believe he's okay for the time being. No damage on the back, really, with Copadia. A bit of net code there, which is a little bit exacerbated by the way that you see it here with the new damage model that's available. So Samravel holds on, and Copadia very nearly ploughed into the back of his main rival.
Yeah, that was a really heart-and-mouth moment for riding Samravel there, but just about able to collect it up without hitting the barrier or taking damage from the car in front with Saran. But Saran, of course, is running in 21st in the points at the moment and looking to really gain a lot of places with a strong points finish here in this race.
Exactly, there are points available. There's your race leader, Mohamed Ibrahim. He's clear now by 4 seconds over Sai Sanjay. Sai briefly a further 2 seconds back of that at the moment. Then on the timing tower that we see at the moment, there is Sai Sanjay in second position. Late addition to the championship, but when he has been here, he has been the nearest challenger to Mohamed Ibrahim more times than not, which makes you wonder if Sai Sanjay did turn up for the opening half of the season here, Ed, maybe he would have been a driver knocking inside the top 6.
Oh, definitely. I think he might be feeling a little annoyed that he didn't join the championship sooner, but it's one of those things, even if you join the championship late, you can still show what you're made of and make an impression, I think. And that may be what stays with people, even if the points don't necessarily reflect how good he is.
Well, sometimes points don't mean everything in terms of a driver. Just ask George Russell from time to time. We've got 5 laps to go here, worked out at the moment here in round 15 of this eRacing Championship event here at Spa-Francorchamps. Double header, as usually is for these events. There is Sai Saran in 6th position, and into the pits with damage comes in Raiden Samravel. Now this is going to be crucial in terms of this one. He will have to take the fast repair that is available to him here, so it won't be an incredibly long stop. Well, it will be if you miss your box like that.
The front wing was out of shape.
To the front wing, but ultimately, now this is going to bring in the likes of Copadia, and that in the battle a whole heap of a lot closer.
Indeed it is. So Samravel doing well not to take too much damage, but of course the performance to the front wing was clearly compromised, so he's made the necessary call and it's dropped into 10th. But yeah, it's going to be really hot and mouth for the last 5 laps. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't get into any more trouble, of course, but he will of course want to go up into 9th and overtake the driver in 9th at the moment, which, if I remember correctly, is just showing us on screen, it's Yadav. It's in 9th, about 25 seconds up the road, so it might be a bit of a tall ask for Samravel. You might have to worry about route behind more than anything.
Well, Swaraj Yadav is someone who actually we had a little conversation with earlier. He had a little bit of a look, ladies and gentlemen, at Ajmera Indy Karting, of course, who helped sponsor with us. So here was his take of how that all played out for him.
Hi guys, I'm Swaraj Yadav. I'm an avid karter and also a sim racer for the IR Sports Racing League. So yeah, please come to the track and check it out with your friends. It's really fun to race against your friends on the track.
Well, that's how very interesting things things are right now with Indy karting, as we take a look at Suarez Yadav here in 9th place. He wants to try and gain that little bit of a place in front. That's Divyang Dodia in 8th position. Both of these drivers +3 and +5 respectively here in this race right now. On the brakes into the Lassos hairpin, the final corner out there on track, and now it's all about the next stage of this lap and going on to their next lap of this race, which will be lap 7 that they will be going on to right now. So Dodia with a bit of a margin, but that gap is only 0.8 of a second, which means the Camel will be a closing up place for Yadav.
And of course Yadav in the Jensen Button helmet there, as you can see on the screen, clearly trying to emulate Button, who won that Spa-Francorchamps in 2012 of course, but it's going to take quite some doing going tonight. But yeah, 8 definitely up for grabs here, as Dodia looking a little bit vulnerable as we approach the closing stages of the race.
And there's more than that as well, because I've just spied here, and you have on screen as well, ladies and gentlemen, Amit Kuti here has caught the back of Ujwal Belwaria. This will be the fight for 4th and 5th position on the road, and this is going to be a little bit of an awkward one here, as Belwaria will have a lot of time to try and hold off back someone who has been very, very good at masterminding a way through the field as they come out to the Fania chicane towards Campus Corner. Here the big right-hander, which has all that gravel on the outside, and now you start to really rattle through the gears off of the exit of here, and this is where Kuti's been really good, lining up, setting up a run, and once again gets a good run off the exit, pulls to the inside against Belwaria, who I think might just let Kuti have this one, and has it done already before they reach Blanchimont.
Yeah, that was not really a lot that Belwaria could do, because he couldn't defend the inside, though he is going to try and break late into the bus stop chicane. Oh, make sure it doesn't hit the back of him. There was a little bit of contact there, but I think Kuti and Belwaria have just about gone away with it as they approach the final three or four laps of the race.
Well, it was always going to be a little bit awkward, but Amit Kuti has got the move done and is up a place. Yadav has also got the move done on Divyang Dodia, and in terms of where he managed to make that one happen, that was the run up to Blanchimont as well, with Dodia around 225 Ks, just leaving the inside open, and that was prime pickings there for one Mr. Suarez Yadav. There's not much more you can argue about that one in that case. Yadav then gaining a place up into 8th position then in the latter stages of this one. Belwaria still trying to come back though at Amit Kuti if possible, as we look at Dodia going up the hill and trying to chase. He takes a lot of curve here with Yadav just in front. As we take a look at a rear chase view of how easy it is to close this one on down. You can see there just outside of the toe, not really in a position to attack that one is Divyang Dodia, so not really going out there being aggressive, just looking maybe for a finish. In the way that Yadav was sliding about through the corner there, you kind of wonder how the rear tyres are faring.
Indeed, of course, Spa being such a long circuit, it really does eat up, especially the rear tyres, but often the fronts as well if you're not careful and lock up too much. But Dodia, he pulled out the slipstream very early there. I think he was a bit ambitious trying to make a move around the outside, but he was never going to be quite close enough to pull that one off. Maybe if Yadav keeps sliding around, Dodia might be able to take advantage, but we'll have to see.
We certainly will, but there is not much time remaining then in this event. Your race leader, Mohamed Ibrahim, right now heading through the Blanchimont corner with over 5 seconds of margin at the moment. It has been a bit processional, so to speak, at the front between the top 3. That's just been the margins, the pace that everyone's been able to get out of the vehicles. So Sanjay, a very comfortable second right now, 2.7 seconds clear of Cyprus.
Yeah, it won't be processional, but that is exactly what Mohamed Ibrahim wanted, because of course once he got rid of Sanjay, got him out the slipstream on the first lap, that was really the key moment of the race when Mohamed Ibrahim won it. He got everything going his way at the start and then's been able to just gradually pull away and extend the gap behind him to 6 seconds. It's very impressive performance by Mohamed Ibrahim once again.
It looks like this may be the final lap of the race here. We're down to 2 minutes 8 seconds when they cross the start finish line. Mohamed Ibrahim's lap times have been 2 minute 13, so we'll hold our breaths then when it comes to the checkered flag here, because there is one more lap to go. In terms of the battles that we were focusing on in terms of championship pushes, it looks like it will be a confirmed second in the championship for Sai Prithvi. They're in what is third position right now on the road. He can be very happy with the work that he's done so far, with Amit Kuti there in the number 16 car in fourth position, up 8 places, but if he wanted to make any inroads on second place in the championship, he needed a bit more fortune here today, like earlier on in the season. In terms of the battle between Samaravel and Kothadia, it will be Samaravel who will be gaining a couple of points on Oshan Kothadia, who will be relying on a really strong finish when it comes to Spa-Francorchamps tomorrow. But crucially, as things stand, Oshan Kothadia will have the pole position for that one. 12 cars get reversed. The driver in that 12th position is Kothadia at this moment in time. But all focus now must turn to the race leader, who is heading through towards the Blanchimont corner for what looks like it's going to be the final time in this race. Has absolutely monstered forward with, again, that same style of aggressiveness to try and break away. Got challenged into turn number 3 out on track. That one being Lay Koom, but that wouldn't matter too much for Mohammed Ibrahim in terms of this run today, because he's known all season long that he is the driver with the most pace. He's the driver pulling away at almost every single chance, and aside from one small blip at Daytona Beach, Florida, this has been a season to be proud of. Mohammed Ibrahim will make the charge to the line, and this will be victory once again for the number 33, who takes it absolutely unflappably. Sanjay will take second, and Sai Prithvi, who did chase down there in the final stages of that race, just not enough time to do so, can only manage the finish that is available to him, and that is P3.
Yes, there we go. A very strong performance from Mohammed Ibrahim. As you say, though, Kufi, I thought, did a very strong recovery drive to fourth as we see them crossing the line now. There's Saran in sixth behind Belwaria. Kevin is going to take seventh. We haven't talked about Kevin, but actually a lot of fans in the chat supporting Kevin. They'll be happy to see him take seventh, as Aswaro Judath takes eighth, just misses out on catching Kevin at the end. There is Dodia in ninth. Will be disappointed to lose that place to Yadav. And there's Raiden Samabel, of course, the last man trying to get into that top 6. And so far, it is looking like he's just going to hang on despite a slightly scrappy race where he had to make a pit stop halfway through. He is going to finish in the top 10. That's going to get him a couple of precious points.
And those precious points will be a couple more that gives him the gain against someone like Oshan Kothadir, who did finish the race one lap down in 12th position. The last finisher in this one will be Rohit Raut. In this one, as you can see the classification on your screen, Mohammed Ibrahim, 8 seconds the margin come the end over Sai Sanjay, with Sai Prithvi in third, Kuti in 4th position with Belwaria and Saran 5th and 6th. Kavin finishing in 7th with Swaraj Yadav in 8th. Divyang Dodia, Raiden Samravel, Rohit Raut will be the last finisher on the leading lap, with Oshan Kothadia 1 lap down. Your retirees are Sahil Shah, Narajan Kumar, Karan Koshik and Raghav Budiraja not taking to the start then for this one in 16th position, unclassified then in this race. So some ideals there, Ed, in terms of that one. It was pretty much the race that we've seen all season long from Mohammed Ibrahim in terms of pace, but is that maybe something that we're seeing as an ideal looking towards the VVRC?
Yeah, I think certainly it's not going to be, once they can move up to the big time, it's not going to be as plain sailing for the likes of Mohammed Ibrahim and Sai Sanjay. But still, if you're going to test yourself against the best, that's always going to create not just great entertainment for us, but great satisfaction for the drivers, no matter how well they do, to be able to be given that opportunity. As for tomorrow, I think Mohammed Ibrahim, even though as good as he is going to be a little bit tricky navigating through the field from 12th position tomorrow, but he always seems to find a way through, so we'll see how he does it rather than if he does it tomorrow.
Well, you can't have any guarantees, and speaking of Mohammed Ibrahim, going to bring him for a little bit of a chat right now. Now, Mohammed, that was pretty much easy apart from Laikum, it seemed. You had a little bit of a challenge in the opening lap from your rival Sai Sanjay just behind, but aside from that, really nothing to talk about.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it was quite a close race up to because there was a lot of slipstream and the start was before a rouge instead of the standard start. So the slipstream was really powerful and he nearly got me, so I had to just hold on.
You definitely did hold on. You did a very, very good job of things there in that one. It's been a season where you are already confirmed as champion with 2 rounds to go, and the fact that you missed the opening 2 rounds of the season as well makes that even more of an impressive feat. So, in terms of how you approach this one, what gave you the edge over all of your opponents?
No, I just take it like a race at a time. So I don't really think about the championship or anything. I just think like what I have to do in my current situation. So that's how I do it.
And of course, you got focus. Once again, you are starting from 12th position on the grid. And when you have started from 12th place on the grid, Mohammed, every single time this season you've gone on to win the race. Are you feeling confident that the trend will continue?
You never know what can happen because you start from 12th and there's so many things can happen because of the incidents, and like you can get taken out and you just have to survive and somehow make it through. But I'm sure I can do something.
Well, before we let you go here, Mohammed, shout out sponsors, anyone that you'd like to thank for yet another race victory.
Yes, I would like to thank the commentators, IR Esport, Mohit Dunodia, Volkswagen Motorsport India, and everyone who's basically been involved in this championship. It has really been nice to be part of it.
No worries at all. Mohammed Ibrahim there, picking up a big race victory then overall. Ed Hunter has stood by with the driver who came home in 3rd position today, and that is Sai Prithvi.
Yeah, here is Sai joining us now in the commentary box. So a 3rd place for you, Sai. A little bit of a quiet one towards the end, but you were catching Sai Sanjay as the laps ticked on. Describe the race from your point of view.
Yeah, as you mentioned, except for the start, which was a little scary, with Sohail Shah getting a great start in front of me, but somehow he managed to lock up, I think, at Rawaj, and then it took Niranjan out before that as well. So it was really scary at that point. But after that, it was kind of a lonely race, just driving consistent laps. Sai Sanjay was driving really well, but at the end, I think his tires went off, or he was driving really conservatively. That's why I could catch him at the end.
Do you feel like you fancy your chances for the reverse grid race? You might be able to, starting ahead of Sanjay, you might be able to finish ahead of him?
It's going to be really difficult, but I'll try my best.
That's what we'd like to hear, Sai. So congratulations on another podium, of course, for you, because you finished runner-up last time as well, I remember. So you keep racking them up, it seems. But not quite on the top step, unfortunately, but still well on your way to making the final 6 for the Volkswagen series.
Yeah, this championship was really fun. I would really like to thank Mohit, Saurav, Shrivar, and everyone involved with this, and the sponsors as well, Mumbai Falcons, IR Esports, Red Bull India, Volkswagen. I'd like to thank all of them for helping me have such a great experience over here.
That's really great to hear, Sai. So congratulations on the podium. We'll leave you to get on with your day now. But Jake, I think you've got Divyang Dodia. We might just have time to speak to him as well before we finish the broadcast.
We certainly do. Now, Divyang, that was a race where 9th position, I think you can be happy with a result like that. Just a case of just trying to bring the car home nice and safely?
Oh, definitely. Looking at the practice times, I was pretty off the pace from everybody. So qualifying into the 11th place was pretty good, and then keeping myself in the race throughout was pretty good. To be honest, I'm really happy with the result.
Well, you come into this one 16th in the championship. There's a lot of drivers in front of you who aren't here, so it looks like you're going to be jumping up quite a few places from now to the end of the season. So in terms of how you think the season's gone for you, what's been the big key in terms of how you've been taking each race?
The biggest key this season is concentrating on the race pace rather than going for the fast lap every other lap during the race. So I just wanted to keep it consistent, and which has helped me a lot throughout the whole season.
Well, it looks like you're having a very good run there as we bring things to close. Divyang Dodia there coming home with 9th position overall. And of course, you got to come back then in 24 hours' time. Tomorrow is going to be the time, the place where everything is going to be going on. Some big battles to go on. Of course, that fight for 6th place in the championship and the final spot in the VVRC, still to be decided. But of course, a massive thanks to everyone who gets it done here in this one. From everyone who's been working behind the scenes at IR Esports, from the likes of Volkswagen Motorsport, the likes of the Mumbai Falcons Racing Limited, hashtag Gamer Connect We Are. And for everyone else who's been working hard, we've got so much more coming up tomorrow from, of course, Ed Hunter, who has been alongside me for the ride. My name's been Jake Sperry. Mohammed Ibrahim picks up the win and picks up the win quite handsomely from that one here today. And of course, there's the time that you need to try and find some more racing action. Will it be a case of more conversions for Ibrahim, or will someone else stand up, make their name counted, and break another little streak? We'll see you tomorrow for more racing action.
Beginning, it is the race beginning, I think. We see Seth Moore just holding it on the inside, I think. Rao is on the outside, so she's holding on. Oh, third place is spun. Oh, and sort of hit him, sort of a slight, horrible first lap. Look at the replay of it now. He just, mid-corner, he just loses the rear end. Grips. We see Adak. Oh, huge crash for Adak. And that's him out of first place, I believe. There you go, we just got a wheel on the grass. Once the rear wheels lose traction, it's just a matter of you're a bit of a passenger kind of thing. Just there we go. Some interesting words from Chris Shanker. Still running in the race and working for the back. Easy finish, that's a good experience to get under your belt. He's having a great time at the moment. You see VSF having a huge off there. Once again, not for the first time in this race. Not too barrier, the front wing. There's Adak. He's dropped down to 10. Finds himself beached in the gravel, making a few sandcastles there. Four wheels on the tarmac. Very important prerequisite for the race car. There's Rajan. He's had a little bit of a spin. Pass. There he goes. Gets onto the curve. And the rear just goes. It's too much power. The Hawks into the Mike Knight corner. And into the last corner. Ritesh Rai is going to cross the line and win the Pokeyama round at the Indian eRacing Championship Juniors class. There we go. Goes towards the pit lane in celebration. A brilliant drive. This Siddharth Schnell. He's going to come home in third behind Aya, who. There we go. He's made a very good getaway. Carnage is all going to be behind him. Third, keep the faster cars behind, of course. Oh, a big incident already. We see one of the front runners just crashed out dramatically. That was Kuti, the pole sitter. Here we go. What happened here? So he goes a bit. Oh, he just loses the rear end. Massive oversteer, and the car switches off into the wall as Sanjay also drops it, coming out of this is onto the oversteer after the chicane. Crashing into the yellow machine. Oh, just about squeezing through, but no, she lost the rear wheel, sharply to the camera. Oh, now they hit each other. Oh, and Sharp finds himself the barrier there. What happened there was miscommunication before the other split. The yellow car sees a turn even on the back of the rear wheel. Launch the fence, I imagine. Here we go. That's your edge. Inside with the chicane. Ibrahim is going to have to go all the way around the outside. Can he pull this one off? Yes, he can. There we go. Cool route. Missing the rear wing. There's been a collision from behind. Just an innocent victim. Did he brake too early there? Or did the car behind just plow into the back of his route? The car gets wiped out. What happens here? He just bounces, flies through the air inside the space, spins. Oh, this is a dramatic incident and a half. Losing them. Really, oh! You don't see a move there very often. There's a house for him. He gets the first run at 4. 5. Mistake by Pretty. It's going to be so frustrating. And Mohamed Ibrahim is going to take a superb reverse grid victory, having started 12th on the grid. It's all come his way. He crosses the line, and it's victory for Mohamed Ibrahim at the Charlotte Roval, with Ty Privy actually closing a little bit at the end, but not quite enough on that final lap, sadly. Ujwal Belwaria, he's 10 seconds down in third place, but a solid performance by him.